What's up, guys? My name is Devin Jackson with Blue Chip Scouting and RiseandDraft.com. I am joined today by a very special guest, a player that has caught my eye in the 2021 season and I think has a real chance to be a special player at the next level. But I'm joined today by Boise State safety J.L. Skinner. JL, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. But want to get right into it. You're a player that flies all over the field. It's not hard to find you on the field and kind of the aggressiveness and tenacity you bring to the game. For my first question is, coming off I would call a breakout season here in 2021. How do you feel looking back now that you had a couple months now since you last played? How do you feel about that 2021 season, and what do you feel like you did really well?
I still feel like I left a lot on the table. I feel like it was a decent season. I still don't really consider it a good season. Looking back on it, I left a lot of things out there on the table that I could have done even better. So one thing I really did well was tackle. I had a lot of tackles, but everything else, I'm really trying to develop that, continue to develop on my tackling. So it was a good season, really get my feet wet, break out, and really show people what I can do. But I was just really me barely touching the surface.
You talk about barely touching the surface, with your game. What areas do you want to see yourself grow more in terms of, getting ready for your senior season? Was there something in particular in your mind that you're going to kind of focus on this off season to continue and grow and develop your game?
I've been focused on coverage a lot, getting better at my coverage skills, being able to play that man-on-man situation with a little short, quick, shifty guys. So being able to play man within any situation, anybody that comes across me, that's all I've been really working on so far.
Now, I kind of want to, take it back in time and talk a little bit about your journey to Boise State. So, my first question is, when was the first time you picked up a football or remember, playing a game of football?
I remember, I think it was about third or fourth grade. I played a little football league. I was playing D-end at the time, and then I moved to California, and that's when I started playing running back and linebacker. And from there, I just kept playing those positions until I got to high school, and that's when I changed to corner, safety, and receiver.
And you talked about moving to California. Where did you originally, or where were you living before you moved to California?
I was born in Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, so I lived there till I was about, I think, 10 or something like that, so 10, and then I moved to California, and ever since then I've been in California.
What was that change like for you, going from the East Coast to West Coast and ended up spending most of the rest of your childhood in California? What was that change like for you?
It wasn't too bad because I was kind of younger, so it wasn't too much to really adjust with. But I kind of like living in California more just because of the weather and everything that came with it. So it wasn't too bad of a trade-off going from the cold to the heat.
For sure. And you talk about initially playing defensive end and then going to running back and linebacker. How would you describe your abilities at running back specifically? Now, obviously, you play on the defensive side of the ball, but what do you remember about playing running back and being able to play that position?
So I really only played running back for my youth years, and I was just really out there just trying to use my speed and agility and to really have fun. So I was just doing whatever I could to go score. And then I moved to receiver and corner in high school, and that's when I really started to just focus on those two things and really just try to work my craft to those two things right there.
And your growth spurt, obviously, you're listed at 6'4", 218. When did you kind of hit that height, or were you just always constantly growing in high school?
I was always constantly a tall guy. I was always a little bit taller than everybody else. So I just kept growing over time. So whenever some people would grow, I'd grow, and I still ended up taller than them. So it wasn't really like a growth spurt. The only one I really remember was when I really shot from like 5'10" to about 6'2" at one time. I was in high school. So that was really the only big one I had.
For sure. Now you talk a little bit about high school football, playing receiver and defensive back. Uh, what was that like for you, and when did you know that you were, or when did you get moved to safety, and when did you know you want to be like safety full time?
I was in high school. I never played safety actually. In high school, I played all corner. I never played safety once in my life. So I know I wanted to play defense going to high school because I didn't really like receiver as much. I just wanted to be able to, constantly be able to make a play or make something happen. So Boise State offered me a safety, and I started doing a little bit more research on it because I was really just used to corner, so I wasn't really too familiar with safety. And I just did some more research on it, and I saw that, you're really playing free out there and able to make plays and have a lot of fun. So I just decided to, move to safety and come and play whatever Boise State wanted me to play. And since then, it's been a great transition. It's been a great time, and I love it. My best position, favorite position ever on the field.
You talk a little bit about Boise State and deciding to go there. What was your recruiting process like? And what ultimately made you decide to go ahead and commit and play for Boise State?
I wasn't really looking at too many schools. My top three was Louisville, Cal, Boise State. And it was really based off my visit to Boise State. I kind of felt something different here. I love the location of Boise State. I didn't want to really go too big of a city, but not too small also. And I just love the tradition here at this program. They come from winning. They come from, doing things that had never ever been done before. So I just loved everything about it. I love the coaching staff and just love the city.
Being able to what I'll go ask you a few off script questions here, but Boise State obviously known for the blue field. What was your first experience like walking out on that field and being able to say it in person? Because I'm sure you saw it beforehand, but what was that like seeing the field for the first time on your visit, I assume?
Oh, it was wild to actually believe that I was blue because I saw it on video games. I wasn't really too familiar with Boise State until they started recruiting me. So I just really saw it off the NCAA games, and I came and saw it in person. I said, wow, it's really blue. I was just thinking they were messing with us, playing with us on the TV or something. So it's really blew my mind to see a turf is really blue and how cool it is and how big of a thing it is in college football, especially in the city of Boise.
For sure. And I assume, in high school, you never played on a field other that wasn't, wasn't green, I assume.
No, we had a school in San Diego actually that has a blue turf field or something like that, but I never played on it.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Obviously you get to Boise State and you appear in 14 games your first season and made one start. What was the transition like for you? Because it's kind of twofold. You were originally a corner and receiver in high school, but they offered you at safety. What was that transition like for you? Not only physically, but in the film room and just getting to know a new position you had never played before.
It was kind of hard at the beginning, but I had some great leaders ahead of me that really knew everything about the defense and really helped me and taught me everything that they knew. And I had some real smart guys ahead of me. So it was a rough transition at first, but once I started getting with them, they started teaching me the little things that they know and such like that. And then I started understanding it more, and I just started really trying to develop as a whole college football player because coming from high school, you think that it's just you just go out here and go cover this zone and you just trying to be the best man out there on the field. But in college, everybody's good. So it's a lot more to it and a lot more that you have to do to really be successful at the game.
And with your defensive scheme, I see you kind of line up all over the place. You are inserted in the box. You're inserted as one high safety. You roll coverages at the snap as well. What's it like playing in that type of scheme that allows you to kind of utilize your skill set, not just in the back end and playing the deep zones, but playing inside the box and out on the perimeter as well.
It was really fun. It allows you to make plays, allows you to really see things differently. Being able to be versatile like that is also hard for the offense to kind of scheme because they have a lot more things to worry about rather than us just always being a too high shell or a cover three base team, something like that. They had to really just scout a lot more. So being versatile like that is real fun, and I love it.
Fast forward to 2020, obviously the pandemic affected everyone and didn't know if you're going to have a season or not. What was that like for you, in your team, obviously dealing with that and trying to figure out, whether or not you're going to have a season after, obviously you prepared in the spring and all summer for
it? We actually had our spring ball cut short that year. So we didn't even get a spring ball. We had about 3 or 4 practices, and then we got sent home. But it was really tough. We just had to stay patient, and really just kind of go based off of what we were hearing every day. Sometimes we'll hear we were getting canceled. Sometimes we'll hear we were playing. So it was really just us coming together and being patient. Just trying to see what would be the best thing for us to do and what we ultimately decided to do.
Now, once you got to finally play in 2020, you got to play in 6 games, and you starred in each one of them. What was that like for you making that jump? You come in as a freshman, it's mostly a learning year and still learning the offense, but you make that second year jump and you become a starter. What was that like for you to take on kind of that bigger responsibility on the defense and become the starter for the defense as well?
It was a lot of learning. That year helped me out a lot, especially for this year, because I was able to really get my feet wet and learn what it really takes to play college football, and especially how to do it on a consistent basis. So that year was a tough year for me because I didn't perform the way I wanted it to, but it really helped me out being ready for the next year and really coming out and really understanding how to play football.
For sure. And taking kind of what you learned for 2020, and taking that momentum into 2021, what was kind of the biggest thing you learned from getting that experience in 2020, and how were you able to kind of apply it to your 2021 game?
I really learned that you just got to really work hard, man. You can't cheat it. You really can't cheat the grind. You really got to follow and really just work hard, because when you really do dedicate that time and really do, try within the workouts and such like that, it's going to pay off. And that's why I had to realize, because when I started really taking the workout serious and being diligent within such like that, especially from that 2020 year, because I didn't perform the way I wanted to, led me to have the season I did this year. So that's the main thing that came from the 2020 year season, knowing how to control your mental during the game aspect, always being locked in and always having focus during any situation. Just little stuff like that was stuff that really helped me out with that jump from 2020 to 2021 season.
For sure. And 2021, you talk about really kind of elevating your game. I got to ask a few questions about your hitting ability. I mean, you every game it seems like you're delivering a big blow. What's that mentality come from, like being physical constantly and coming downhill, being very active in the run game? What does that mentality come from you to be able to do that consistently and not shy away from contact but yet embrace it?
No fear. I mean, I've been like that since I was a little kid, though. I always like to tackle. I've always liked the contact aspect of football. That's why I never could play basketball, because I started playing football and I thought it was a little bit too soft for me. So I just always like going contact, having no fear. It's football. That's the fun part of the game. It's always fun to hit somebody and make contact and, be able to deliver a blow. So that's really where that mentality comes from, because honestly, it's fun to me to hit people. So that's just my whole mentality.
For sure. I got to ask about a couple of hits that you made this year. One being the first one was on a 2-point conversion against UCF, where you almost knocked the UCF quarterback out of the game. What was going through your mind as you're running across the field and trying to make that stop on a 2-point conversion?
Just don't let them get in, because that was a really pivotal point in the game. I think if we were believe that we were down 4 or something like that at that point in the game. So I was really trying to make sure that the lead didn't really turn into something that we couldn't reach. So I had to make sure he didn't get in and just give us a chance, give us a shot. And our offense, we came out there and we had a chance, but it just didn't come through that game. So it was really just to give us a shot, give us a chance, and always keep fighting.
Got to ask about that Oklahoma State game, because I felt like that was, one of your best games of the season. Well, first take me through that play where you pick up and slam a guy at Oklahoma State. You come across the field on the reverse, and you deliver that blow. What was kind of going through you? Not necessarily going through your mind, but what was that play like for you, being able to make that hit, coming across the field? Because you did that a few times in the game.
I was just really trying to see. I mean, it's a lot. They were running a lot of trick plays and such like that, so they had to really control your eyes and really decipher where the ball was exactly going. So I was really just trying to go there and always just try and make a play, because I know sometimes plays like that is really hard for especially the D line and linebackers and such to see certain things, because they're so close and in close range contact or combat. So me being a little bit further, I could see exactly where it's going. So I was just trying to go out there and make a play and make sure nothing came from that type of play.
For sure. And you know, do you feel like your Oklahoma State game, while we're on the topic, do you feel like that was your best game in 2021? But if not, what do you feel like was your best game in 2021?
I believe it was one of them. I think Oklahoma State, UCF, Fresno. There's a couple of games I feel like I had decent games in, but I still missed a lot of stuff even within those games. I'm not happy about. I still think about to this day, like, oh, man, if I could have made that play, I would have did this and that. So I really don't even consider none of my games to be good from my personal aspect. It might be looking good from a stat aspect, of course, but me, I personally don't think I really had too many good games, and I left so much out there on the table. And obviously, it wasn't good enough. We didn't bring back a championship. That's really all I care about at the end of the day. So that's really what I'm trying to aim for, especially within this next season.
For sure. And you talked about some missed opportunities. I think when you posted about on social media is that Oklahoma State fumble that you returned for 6. When you think about the season and the missed opportunities that you may have had, what how do you, I guess for your own mindset, but how do you kind of separate that and still going out and trying to make plays for your team, and yet you when you look back, there are still some opportunities to make plays.
Just control what you can control. Honestly, even if you miss a play, you can't really say, "Oh, I wish I would have made that play," because you missed it. But you can't control that anymore. So control what you can control and go out and make another one. So especially with my kind of missed opportunities, I always remember them. So I try and put myself in those situations again, so that way when that opportunity does come out, I'm prepared for it and I don't miss it. So it's really having a short-term memory and always trying to go out there and make a play and do his best for the team, because you never know what can happen. It's college football.
When when you're preparing for games, what's kind of your routine for getting prepared for a game during the week? Like, do you have any special things that you do in particular, or things you watch out for on film?
I really just look at matchups, type of, I say, tendencies they have within certain formations, the way they use certain players, because a lot of times offenses are going to have a player that they use only in a certain way. So trying to figure out who that is and what they're going to use them for. They always want to get their guys into a certain position within certain formations that will give you a lot of really just tendencies as to what routes they're running and what concepts you can expect. Whether they want to have their guy at number 3 for a crossing route, or number 3 for an over route, or him as number 3 for a corner route and run the type of chair concept or something like that. So it really just depends. I watch a lot of stuff, and that's why I really learned from our older guys on the team, though, that really brought me in. We still have one of them on my team, Tyree Jones. Like, those guys right there, they really taught me how to really do everything the correct way and how to really decipher film and what to look for. So I really copy them. I really copy them for all their techniques, but they're some of the best techniques around.
And stay on that topic of preparing for games. Is there a playlist that you have set for games, or what do you listen to or doing right before the game?
I listen to slow jams like a lot until the game, and then when we start doing our little Bronco walk or start getting on the bus to head to an away game, that's when I start turning my little rap playlist. But until then, I'm really listening to smooth stuff all day, like some Drake or something like that. I'm listening to some R&B type of stuff just to calm my mind down and not peak on the adrenaline too early. So that's really that's a little plan for me. That's my little game day ritual.
A few questions, few quick hitting questions. What made you decide to switch to number 0 after wearing 33 as a freshman?
Oh, I just wanted. I liked the way that it was going to look on our jerseys. It was something different. Nobody had really had number 0 yet. It just came out, so I wanted to kind of be the first to do something like that. And it looks good in the jersey too, and it's something different. So I was really excited about that one. I didn't really like 33 too much.
Gotcha. A few more questions here. I saw that you post a lot of like Bane gifts on Twitter. Is there a connection with that, or why you post it?
Bane is my probably favorite super villain or character from a movie. I just like Bane. It's just I've watched that movie too many times not to like him, and I like him as a character. And he's a villain, but he's not really a villain though, because what he's saying is true. Like he's saying real true stuff about the city. It's just the way that he's handling it. And he said, if you go back and watch some of the stuff that he said, man, within that movie, like about being from the dark and such like that, how his mentality was, it just really stuck with me. That's why he's my favorite character. And he's just the baddest man out there, man. I don't think nobody better than him. He's my favorite one.
Sure, I had to ask about that. I saw it a few times pop up through your Twitter. Now that you've been playing safety, just through your college years, is there someone that you have kind of modeled your game after at the NFL level, or people that you look at to try and get tips or just points to add to your game for you?
I watch a lot of people. I don't really. I try and mind my game most after Kam Chancellor and the way he played. That's my favorite safety probably of all time. I'm really a real big fan of him. I always have been. So I kind of really just try and take aspects of their games, like his physicality and the way he played, and the way he always come down and fill the box and stuff like that. Try and implement that in my game. I watch a lot of safeties. I try and take their game and implement it in mine because a lot of safeties can do a lot of things better than some people. So I try and just take it all from the best and really learn from everyone and try and put it in my little toolbox.
Funny that you mentioned Kam Chancellor. I was actually going to ask about that because I do see aspects of Kam Chancellor in your game. When you think about kind of obviously this is probably not in the forefront of your mind, but your height, size, weight combo, just kind of really reminisces Kam Chancellor. And you talk about adding parts of his game to yours. Do you see the parallels between you two guys when you watch back and play, or I know it's maybe a far off question there, but do you see the similarities between your two games?
I could definitely see people see why they compare them together. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily like Kam Chancellor because he was doing some things. I'm still trying to get on that level, but I could definitely see how people find similarities in the way of which we play. And I try and really predicate some of my game as the way he played just because he was, my size and the way he played the game with physical, hard-hitting safety who could, do everything needed also within coverage and such like that. So that's the type of thing I'm trying to, really model again in my game.
For sure. Now you talk a little bit about your game. Is there a particular, area of the field that you feel most comfortable in? Is it in the box? Is it out in coverage? Like, where do you feel most comfortable playing just in general as a safety, or are you fine with wherever they put you?
I'm fine wherever. I'm a football player at the end of the day. I'm not really predicated on where I want to go or anything like that. Just put me on the field. I'm gonna give you the best or give you my best and try to make a play for the team. I don't really care about where exactly. I just want to be able to do something to contribute to the team.
Obviously, spring ball is coming up for you in Boise State. What are some early goals you have, for next season and getting ready for a 2022 season where you're a senior and could potentially be your last year playing for Boise State?
I just really want to, become more of a leader and lead us to something great. I'm trying to bring Boise State back to the level of fear and such that they had installed in people as before. So I'm really trying to just bring that leadership aspect to spring ball and just have everyone know that we're on a mission to really bring back a championship. At the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. So we need to bring back the Mountain West Championship in Boise. It belongs to Boise. So that's where our mindsets are at right now heading into spring ball.
A few more questions before I get you out of here. One being, who was your toughest matchup in 2021? Kind of one-on-one matchup or just a team matchup in general?
Toughest team matchup, I would say, Oklahoma State was a really good team. Jalen Warren, he was a very good back. I like Jalen Warren as a back. I liked Trey McBride from Colorado State, Dylan Gabriel from UCF. Fresno State had a couple good players. There's some ballers over there. We really had a very good schedule overall. We played a lot of good players on each team. We definitely made a lot of noise nationally. So I really, I love that aspect of it because every week we know we were coming into a team that had a lot of competition and wasn't really just like a pushover. So it was really fun to play against some great players like that every year, especially for guys like Jalen Warren, who transferred from Utah State and just lit it up at Oklahoma State. So it was just fun to play against guys like him, and it was a great year, especially competition-wise.
Your ball playmaking ability, taking the ball away is something that I noted as well in your game. There was a play in high school. I saw you took the ball out of someone's hands and returned it for a touchdown. What's kind of your mentality with getting takeaways and turnovers, because you forced a couple fumbles this year, had a few interceptions. How what's kind of in your mind in terms of making those plays and getting the ball back for your offense?
I was just trying to get the ball back to the offense, take advantage of the opportunity. Sometimes I don't remember, like I just be, trying to make a play. So sometimes I see a little hole or something like that, and I'll just try to make a play and get the ball back to our offense, because we do a lot of takeaway circuits and such in my school. So takeaway is a big thing for us. We love having and creating takeaways. So that's really our main goal. And every time we see opportunity to do it, that's what we're really looking for. So secure the tackle, but also, create turnovers and takeaways for the offense. So that way, if we go and put some points on the board.
Final question here. I want to ask you. When you're sitting here this time next year, and you may be getting ready for the draft or whatever decision you may want to go ahead and make. What do you want to see out of JL Skinner over the next calendar year to continue to propel yourself forward potentially for an NFL future?
Just build off of what I did last year. Just trying to, limit many mistakes that I made last year, never make the same mistake twice. So I've been reviewing a lot of things that I could have done better, and really just trying to come out here and lead. I want the JL Skinner a year from now to have a Mountain West championship for the city of Boise. That's really the main thing on my mind right now. And whatever I got to do to get that, I'm going to do. And that's really that's the main goal. That's the main goal for me this year, to bring the city of Boise back another Mountain West championship.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today a little bit about your breakout 2021 season, your journey to Boise State. Definitely will be keeping an eye out for you over the next calendar year. You're going to be one of my top safeties going into next year's class. So thanks again for taking the time to talk with me, JL, and best of luck in 2022 and moving forward.
All right, yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.